The following videos were developed as a community service in partnership between the Unified Government of Wyandotte County and Housing and Credit Counseling Incorporated, otherwise known as HCCI of Topeka, Kansas. Module 6, Crime-Free Multi-Housing Advanced Management Techniques, Phase 1, Keeping Illegal Activity Out of Rental Property, a community-oriented property management approach, sponsored by Kansas City, Kansas Police Department, COPS Unit, and the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. The 6 modules were developed by HCCI and Wyandotte County to address frequent issues that arise in the residential landlord-tenant relationship. The 6 module topics include rental applications, fair housing as it relates to screening tenants, leases, non-renewals, terminations, and evictions, rental licensing and inspection, and this current topic, Crime-Free Multi-Housing Advanced Management Techniques, Crime Prevention through Environmental Design. Information discussed in the Landlord-Tenant modules can be referenced in the Kansas Residential Landlord and Tenant Act, the KRLTA, as well as federal fair housing laws. To learn more about HCCI and HCCI services, including landlord and tenant information, publications and forms, or if you'd like to speak to a landlord and tenant counselor, please contact us at 800-234-0217 or visit our website at www.hcci-ks.org. Crime Prevention through Environmental Design, most commonly known as CPTED, the design or redesign of an environment to improve safety, decrease the fear of crime, and eliminate conditions which may contribute to crime. So what is CPTED? It's an approach to planning and development that reduces crime opportunities. In order for a criminal event to occur, there must be a ready, willing, and able offender, a vulnerable, attractive, or provocative target or victim, and a favorable environment. In plain terms, CPTED says, make your home, business, or property the hardest target in your area for crime. Since most criminals are looking for a trouble-free opportunity, they take the easiest path when they decide to rob, assault, or vandalize. The majority of criminal activity comes from opportunity and not long-term planning. If you put forth efforts to make your property less vulnerable to crime, criminals will probably go to an easier target. CPTED can reduce crime and fear through territoriality, a concept of fostering residents' interaction, vigilance, and control over their neighborhood by clearly distinguishing private areas from public areas by using landscape, good maintenance, fences, signage, or other physical and natural designs to distinguish what is public and what is private, and clearly convey ownership of the property. Surveillance, or maximizing the ability to spot suspicious people and activities. When occupants can apply a high degree of visual control, there is more likelihood that criminal acts will be observed and reported. There is also a psychological effect on the criminal. When he knows he can be seen, he is less likely to commit a crime. Activity support, encouraging the intended use of public space by residents. Positive and legitimate activities such as using the playgrounds, getting together for fun as a group of residents, neighborhood watch groups to talk about crime deterrence are all encouraged in public spaces, thereby discouraging criminal activity. Hierarchy of space, or identifying ownership by delineating private space from public space through real or symbolic boundaries, such as gardens, distinct paving or elevation changes. Access control, or target hardening, using physical barriers, security devices, and tamper-resistant materials to restrict entrance, such as lighting, landscaping and plants, signage, and directional cues. Environment, a design or location decision that takes into account the surrounding environment and minimizes the use of space by conflicting groups. There is a general consensus that if the environment is planned, designed, and managed appropriately, certain types of crimes can be reduced. Image maintenance, ensuring that a building or area is clean, well-maintained, and graffiti-free. Deterioration and blight indicates less concern and control by the intended users of a property and imply a greater tolerance of disorder. Natural access control. Balcony railings should never be a solid opaque. In other words, you should be able to see through balcony railings, and they should be no more than 42 inches high for visibility purposes. Entrances into parking areas should be defined by landscaping, structure design, or monitored. Dead-end spaces should be blocked by a fence or gate. Common building entrances should have locks that automatically lock when the door closes. Hallways should be well lit. Building access should be limited to no more than 2 points of entry. Territorial reinforcement can be defined as defending one's territory. Property lines should be defined by landscaping or fencing. Low shrubbery and fencing should allow visibility from the street. Building entrances should be lighted. Doorknobs should be 40 inches from window panes so that a criminal cannot easily break a window and get his hand on the doorknob. All buildings should be clearly identified by street address numbers that area minimum of 5 inches high and well lit at night. Common doorways should have windows and be key controlled by residents. Mailboxes should be located next to the appropriate residence. Territoriality is defining your property as your space to make criminals feel unwelcome. It's an expression of ownership and pride. Fencing is one component of territoriality. Signage such as private property, no trespassing, no loitering, no soliciting, and violators will be prosecuted is important because it gives the police certain legal rights they would not have without the signs. Clearly define the space between private versus public. Post addresses clearly. Large complexes should post maps. Keep it looking cared for. Remove graffiti and repair vandalism quickly, within 24 hours if possible. Keep the exterior looking clean and fresh. To help keep the exterior looking clean and fresh, consider power washing the building once every 2 years. The hedges in this photo are well groomed. There is also a wooden barrier denoting this is my territory between the property and the sidewalk and street. However, the tree needs to be trimmed so there is a clear line of sight between the home and the street. This home reflects a clear sight line around the perimeter of the property. The windows and doors are unobstructed. The alleyway is clear. The hedges are neatly manicured and low. They do not obstruct the view between the house and the alley. The hedges are short and decorative fencing in front of the home shows a sense of territory. Do not use bars on windows. Bars on windows limit access, but can send a negative message about the safety of a neighborhood. They can also pose a hazard for getting out quickly in the event of a fire. Instead, use attractive hostile landscaping around windows. Basically, any plant or bush that has thorns, like a rose bush. Use rock mulch around windows and borders of buildings instead of wood mulch. Wood mulch is quiet to walk on, whereas rocks make noise and uncomfortable to walk on. Recreation areas should be visible from a multitude of windows and doors. Dumpsters should not create blind spots or hiding spaces. Shrubbery should be no more than 3 feet high for clear visibility. Stairwells should be well lit and open to view, not behind solid walls. This photo shows a criminal. He has little chance of being detected. The property is not maintained. The criminal can see a clear way to hide behind the overgrown bushes, also giving him access to break into a window or front door without being detected. Occupants inside the property cannot clearly view people who might be approaching the property. In addition to providing a hiding place and clear entry points for a criminal, this property may be implying you don't care. Studies show that when yards are unkept, it appears no one cares, and criminals are more likely to target the place of residence. This photo, on the other hand, shows low-cut hedges, a well-manicured lawn, and a clear sight path for the home occupant to see outside. It also shows a light next to the door and the address clearly on the house. It demonstrates to a criminal that it would be difficult to hide from detection. This property is in such neglect that it gives a criminal the impression he can hide, gain entry, and no one cares anyway. The photo depicts extreme neglect. No one is concerned about maintaining the property or allowing any visibility between the home and the outside world. So for a criminal, it's a psychological invitation to commit a crime, such as vandalism, theft, or physical harm. In this photo, the hedges hide basement apartment windows, which gives a criminal access to hide and gain entry. There is also wood mulch around the bushes and under the windows, making it a comfortable and quiet place to crouch and hide. Here, once again, is a well-manicured yard with low hedges, a clear line of sight for the resident, and also a chain-link fence that shows there's a visual barrier between the home and the backyard. The fence can be seen through, so no one can hide. Lighting concerns. Use lighting appropriate for the application. Use energy-efficient lighting and fixtures. Have lighting properly aimed and focused. Use lighting that has long lifespan. It's important to use lighting properly. Metal halide lighting is good for recreation areas and parking lots. High-pressure sodium lighting is good for parking lots and common areas. Fluorescent lighting is good for covered parking, porch lights, and walk paths. Incandescent lighting is good for porch lights inside units. And low-pressure sodium lighting is good for dumpsters and maintenance shops. Incandescent, fluorescent, and high-intensity discharge lighting are good lighting choices. Incandescent lighting has a low initial cost. It has a high operating cost. Low efficiency, only 80 to 90% of energy is lost through heat. A short bulb life and good color rendering. Fluorescent lighting has a moderate initial cost, a moderate operating cost, moderate efficiency, as well as bulb life. It has poor to good color rendering. It depends on the phosphorus in the tube. High-intensity discharge lighting has a high initial cost, a low operating cost, high efficiency, a long bulb life, and good to excellent color rendering. Metal halide is excellent. High-pressure sodium is good, and low-pressure sodium is the most efficient of all types, but poorest color rendering. Mercury vapor has a long bulb life and may be illegal in some areas, and it also has a long start time. Activity support produces resident retention. The more active the residents are on the property, the more likely they are to report suspicious behavior. They are less likely to damage or commit crime on the property, and they provide more natural surveillance. They are happy with where they live, renew their leases, and tell others. Some ideas include movie nights, kids clubs, gardens, garage sales, safety socials, and holiday parties. Here are the CPTED minimum requirements for a property. Crime prevention through environmental design minimum requirements. 3-inch screws in strike plate or hinges. Taking out the 1-inch screws in the door strike plate and replacing with 3-inch screws makes it much harder to kick a door in because the screw is then attached to the stud. Deadbolt with 1-inch throw. It's recommended that your door have at least one deadbolt with a 1-inch or longer throw, meaning the bolt passes 1 inch into the door frame. Eye viewers have a 180-degree minimum vision radius. Locks or pins should be installed on windows. Anti-slide, anti-lift devices or Charlie bars should be installed across sliding glass doors and windows. Landscaping maintenance. With maintenance of trees, shrubs, lawn, and barriers such as see-through fencing, you can reduce crime. Adequate lighting. Criminals use the darkness to hide, so lighting can deter criminal actions. This does not mean light it up like it was daytime. Rather, light it to a point where if you look outside at night, you can see someone if they are on your property. This lighting may be on a motion sensor, light sensor, or regular switch. Have easily visible street address signs to help locate your property for others, police and fire, for example. It's important to note that CPTED will not entirely eliminate crime, but it will reduce the opportunity for specific crimes to occur within set parameters, and it will enhance the feeling of safety for property owners and renters. Need more information? Free answers are available at HCCI at 800-234-0217 or visit our website at www.hcci-ks.org.